President Biden's decision to block the transfer of MiG-29s from Poland to Ukraine was a bloody blunder. Hello, I'm Steve Forbes, and this is What's Ahead, where you get the insights you need to better navigate these turbulent times. After threats from Vladimir Putin, President Biden backed down on the transfer of 24 MiG-29 jet fighters from Poland to Ukraine. Biden kiboshed it at the last minute. The president muttered something about not wanting to do anything to start World War III. His craven capitulation to Putin on this, however, is increasing the level of violence in Ukraine and also sets the stage for grievous miscalculations in the future by our adversaries, not to mention by Putin himself. Russia appears to be readying the use of biological and chemical weapons. Putin has already sent missiles near the Polish border. He has intensified his barbaric artillery and air attacks on civilians in Ukrainian cities. He is following his military playbook of reducing cities to rubble regardless of civilian casualties. Those jets would have helped to counter the Russian assaults by helping take out artillery and missile batteries. They have also raised morale of Ukrainian freedom fighters at this critical junction in the war. The idea that Putin would blow up the world over the transfer of old Soviet-era aircraft is bitterly laughable. But the president's giving in to Putin here sets up potentially dangerous scenarios in the future, where we draw a line in the sand, and our antagonists believe that if they raise the threat level, the U.S. will back off. That's how big wars can start. Putin badly misjudged his Ukrainian invasion, but he also figures if he keeps attacking, he will ultimately conquer Ukraine or a big chunk of it. He still doubts the ultimate resolve of the U.S. and Europe. Instead of always reacting to Putin, the U.S. should turn the tables on him. Take oil and gas, the source of half of Russia's revenues. Putin is counting on European dependence on Russian energy to keep this revenue stream flowing. We should counter by saying, you can buy Russian oil, but the money goes into special escrow accounts. Russia would get the cash only if they ceased operations in Ukraine. Would Putin shut down his oil fields instead? As the Wall Street Journal's Holman Jenkins points out, quote, that wouldn't be an easy choice, given huge technical costs, lasting damage to wells, massive unemployment, and permanent loss of customers who rejigger their refineries for non-Russian crudes, end of quote. Other measures include total sanctions against all Russian banks instead of the half-baked ones now, similar sanctions against global institutions that help finance the Russian economy, substantially beefing up our communications with the Russian people via the Russian service of Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty. To that end, enable the Russian people to get access to the internet. And of course, go full bore in supplying Ukraine the weapons and intelligence it needs to fight, including attack helicopters and those jets. I'm Steve Forbes. Thanks for listening. Do send in your comments and suggestions. I look forward to being with you soon again.